Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm a Monk, and today it is time for that time of the year again when sports games seem to pump out the latest year's edition of the same game that was out last year, and this turn is FIFA 22, which comes out in October the 5th. Now, before we get stuck into that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews just like this, or reviews of different games that's coming out throughout the year. Subscribe to the channel, that way you don't miss out on a single video that comes out. And of course, as always, comment your thoughts down below on this game, FIFA 22. I'm always very interested to know your thoughts on a game that I'm reviewing as well. Now, FIFA 22 is a AAA rated game, and as a AAA rated game, it gets a AAA rated purchase price as well. And in the store right now, on the Xbox store that is, it will set you back at £80.99, and that is with a very nice 10% discount as well. Isn't that generous of them? It is a AAA rated game. It's, hugely expensive for what it actually is. But do you actually get anything new this season, or this year, should I say? Well, not really. However, there are a few tweaks. They will have broken some things that didn't need fixing, and hopefully they would have fixed some things that were broken last year as well. One of the improvements that they actually made this year, however, was to give you the ability to create your own unique club. Now, being able to create your own unique club is something that we have asked for years and years and years. Me personally, I love career mode in this game. That's what I play it for. I don't really play it for the FUT. I do have a go every now and again, but for me, it is the career mode is why I play this game, and I rinse and repeat my career modes quite often. So the ability to actually make my own club from scratch is something that I'm really glad that they've put in. It works really well. I like the amount of options that they've given you. You can create your own badge, kind of create your own generic team, and of course, something that they've also changed, is you can give starting budget of £1 billion, which is, well, it's a lot of money. It's absolutely huge. Last season it was 500 million, so they've upped it to £1 billion now. So as well as creating your own club with £1 billion pounds to spend in the transfer market, you can also take over a Conference League team, which, by the way, they've added the Conference League to career mode, which I think is really good. But as well as that, you can take on, for instance, Salford, who's in Division 2 right now, give them £1 billion and buy whoever you bloody well want in the transfer market, which I quite like the ability to have. But as well as that, they are bragging that there's a new Hypermotion technology, and I've got to admit, when I actually had a few games, it did feel a lot smoother and a little bit more responsive as well. However, that being said, on paper, it sounds good. It feels nice in reality, but it doesn't look necessarily that much different. It's pretty much just last year's game with a new name and a few extra shiny bubbles here and there. If you liked FIFA 21, if you like the FIFA franchise, you're going to like this game. Unfortunately, it still has the same flaws that it did have. It has a few more features this year, but ultimately, FIFA is FIFA. I suppose the real question is, are you going to be buying FIFA 22, or are you going to be churning over to PES, which PES is kind of doing an online service now. They're not going to be doing a yearly new release game. They're going to be doing an updated game every year, which I kind of feel like is what FIFA's already doing. All they're doing every year is updating things a little tiny bit, but we're still paying the same price for pretty much exactly the same game every single year, which is a bit disappointing. This is, of course, one of the new features. You get a slightly different cutscene now when you go to make transfer bids and transfer offers with trying to buy and recruit new players. It's okay. It's a nice little touch. It's nice to see, they have tweaked it a little bit, but it still feels for me a little bit boring. It's something that I'd rather skip, because at the end of the day, the manager that you've created doesn't have a voice. You're literally just reading the stuff on the screen anyway. So do we really need any of the visual aids? I don't think so. I'd rather it just be done all through emails, to be honest with you. It kind of really annoying and just winds me up. But I've got to admit, as a FIFA fan, I did like getting on the pitch, taking on Man United, and scoring a few goals. It was nice to see the updated roster. And honestly, it did feel very, very smooth. They also still had the same features they brought in last year, where you could sim the game while in the middle of the game, or you could just sim to the end of the game once started and scoring a few goals, which was a nice feature last year. It's still in this year, so that's quite nice to see too. Something new I did notice, however, and that's that if your club's on a losing streak, which I also thought was really cool. If your club's on a losing streak and you start losing yet another game, you'll actually notice your fans leaving the stadium. Certain parts of the stadium will empty out and they won't be there anymore. So that's a nice little touch. It's something, again, small, something that you probably are never going to see because, let's face it, this is FIFA and we all normally play to a nice comfortable level anyway. So hopefully that's not happening for you. But if you do end up going on a bit of a downward spiral, you're going to notice your fans actually leaving. FIFA 22 can also brag that it has the first female announcer or commentator in the franchise, in with Alex Scott. She's a nice welcome addition. I think it would be good if they freshen up their commentators and announcers a little bit more and kind of keep in with the times rather than the same people again and again. But still, Alex Scott is a nice little addition to this game too. All in all, though, I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. Unfortunately, it does everything that you expect it to, and nothing really else on top of that. If you enjoy your FIFA games, you will enjoy this game. It is what it is. Is it worth the money? Absolutely not worth the money, especially as FIFA 22 will probably come onto Game Pass eventually for the Xbox anyway. So personally, FIFA 22 is not worth the money. However, it's a perfectly good game. You know, it is probably the best football game that you can actually go out and buy right now. There were no crashes, no bugs, or any issues like that whatsoever. You know, FIFA is a pretty polished game, which is nice. There are a few obvious, you know, silly animations sometimes when you get players running into each other and you get some randomness there. But other than that, you know, it is a very, very polished game. So it definitely deserves a 7 out of 10. However, it does nothing new on last year's game either. So, but I have been a monk and we've been a Critically Clueless. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course comment your thoughts, like I said earlier, down below, because I'd like to know your opinion on FIFA 22. You know, is this a game that you're going to be picking up? Are you someone that buys FIFA every single year? Or do you buy it for the foot? I know a lot of people have transferred over to the foot now. But maybe the foot should be kind of like an online service only game, because it's not as if FIFA do not make a buckload of money from it anyway. So I don't know if a yearly edition is really needed anymore. But anyway, thank you for joining me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video soon.